the Weber Kamado versus the Weber Kettle grill. Is there really a $1,000 performance difference? Let's dive in. So I recently bought the Weber Kamado, and it's been my dream grill for a very long time. And I do want to preference that I've been very happy with it. And it's also definitely not a kettle grill. It is a Kamado grill, and it's been fantastic. But I have to wonder, is there a $1,000 performance difference between the Weber Kamado and the regular kettle grill? I've had a kettle grill for the last 15, 20 years or so, and it's never let me down. I still think the kettle grill is probably the best bang for your buck and one of the most versatile grills out there. Now, I want to preface the video by saying this is not an ordinary kettle grill. This is actually the Master Touch Premium. It was a limited edition run in the United States, and I think they still sell it overseas. I think it's still very popular overseas, but basically this grill came with a hinged lid and a diffuser plate. At the time, you could only get a diffuser plate with the Weber Master Touch Premium or the Weber Summit Kamado. So I bought it thinking that it was like the little brother of the Summit Kamado until I could afford one. So although it's not a true original design kettle grill, it's still very much a kettle grill. It doesn't have any wall insulation, air insulation, anything like that. It doesn't hold temperatures very well. It's basically just a kettle grill with a hinge mechanism. So I don't want you guys to get confused. In today's video, I want to keep things very simple. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to test how fuel efficient each grill is. I'm just going to be cooking up 2 chickens and see if I can personally taste a difference with some regular old Kingsford's briquettes. This is going to be one part of probably several videos. I have some ideas for future videos that are going to test out key performance aspects such as how fuel efficient each grill is, how well they hold temperatures, and of course, how well they smoke the food. But for today, for the average Joe, just cooking up some chicken, is there a difference? Also, a side note, my son really thinks that his grill's better than both of these grills combined, so we're going to be testing out my 1.5-year-old son's Weber grill, his kettle grill, and who knows, maybe the results will surprise us. Just kidding.
All right, we fired up a chimney basket filled with Kingsford's Originals briquettes. We made sure to get an even amount for both grills. I wanted to use the charcoal baskets to get 2-zone cooking, put the chicken in the middle, make sure that we're roasting it from each side. I also added in a drip tray filled with some water just to keep the environment moist and help regulate the temperatures. We cleaned off the grates, closed the grills, and preheated them, and I was already noticing a difference.
I can tell you right off the bat, the Weber Summit Kamado got the temperature real quick and it's rock steady. The Master Touch Premium needed a little bit more adjustments, but it's okay now. It seems like it's holding pretty steady. Now, we are going to be using 2 identical chickens that have been seasoned identically, and my goal here is to just put them in there, cook them at the same temp. We're probably going to start at 375 degrees, skin down, crisp up the skin, then I'll flip them, and then we'll drop to about 350 and just let it go for the entire way. So we're right at around 170 degrees, something like that, maybe 165. And then I'll bump the temperatures up to 450 degrees for the last 5 degrees or so, just to crisp up everything, get a good char. So this is definitely going to test changing the temperatures between the Weber Summit Kamado and the Master Touch Premium. I'm also going to be using the Meter Plus, or the Meter Dual, and this is a wireless thermometer system. You get 2 probes, works off of Wi-Fi. I have been having a lot of issues with the Meter Dual. Customer service has been great, but it hasn't been perfect, and I'm going to make an updated video on that. Today I'm hoping that all the problems are solved, so fingers crossed.
After inserting the wireless thermometers, it was time to put the chicken in. First starting off with the Master Touch Premium, making sure that we went skin down, and then with the Weber Summit Kamado. I decided to spatchcock the chickens just to make sure that we had consistent results and so they could cook much faster.
Okay, so the chicken's in, and right off the bat, I can already tell there's a difference in performance when it comes to fine tuning. So the Weber Summit Kamado, remember our target temperature is 375 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Just to get the skin down and get it to crisp up a little bit, get that evaporation process to start, right? So we can start the Maillard reaction. Man, the Summit Kamado is dead on 375. Now the Weber Master Touch Premium, the Weber Kettle, it's sitting right now at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've adjusted it a couple times. I've overshot, brought it back down, and then shot it back up. I thought I held it, and then it came back down. So it's just misbehaving, right? So the Weber Summit Kamado can hit your preheated temperatures just fine, and then when you open up the lid, you put the chicken in there, yeah, the temperatures drop, but then they go right back to where you had them. It's almost as if I have a knob and this thing's a gas grill. Not quite, but it's pretty freaking great. And then with the Master Touch Premium, preheating it, I finally locked in the temperatures. It wasn't too bad. I locked in the temperatures, but then as soon as we opened up the lid, put the chicken in there, it's now wonky, and I gotta play with it a little bit more.
I was finally able to stabilize the Weber Kettle, and now it was time to flip the chickens over and drop the temperatures to around 350 degrees, and then we're going to shoot them back up for the last part of this cook.
Okay, so interesting results so far, but honestly expected. The Master Touch Premium is running hotter. We know that. And the Summit Kamado has been very, very consistent. You can also see that in the chickens. Chicken in the Summit Kamado has been a lot more consistent, a lot more even, very juicy. And with the Master Touch Premium, the chicken in there, it's a lot more crispy, a little bit more charred, and that's because it's cooking faster. Honestly, they both look really good so far. I'm just gonna have to be patient and wait and see how they both finish and how fast each chicken finishes, right? And then, of course, do a taste test. Now, the other thing that happened is the Meter Dual took a crap on me, and I'm no longer using it. It's back in the charger. I don't know what's going on with that thing. So I'm just gonna go with the trusty old method of using an instant probe. I'm gonna take the Type for Sync out right now and just probe around and finish the chickens that way. I wish I would have had some data and graphs to play with, but it is what it is.
The chickens are looking really good, and we're getting closer to the finish line. I can tell with the Weber Summit Kamado, the chicken's cooking a lot slower than the Kettle Grill. But I had a feeling that the Kamado would catch up once we bumped up the temperatures, and it was actually time to bump up the temperatures. We're gonna go ahead and raise them as high as they can go so we can crisp up the skin just one more time. It was a lot easier to raise the temperatures with the Summit Kamado. With the Weber Kettle Grill, unfortunately, it didn't have much left in it, and I couldn't get the temperatures past 375 degrees. So far, regardless, the end result was fantastic. This chicken was from the Weber Kettle, and this chicken was from the Kamado. They almost look identical, with very little nuances, and I was surprised just how close they resembled each other. But looks isn't everything. Let's cut into them. Cutting into the Weber Kettle, I was very happy with the results. Look how juicy that leg turned out. And then cutting into the Kamado, again, almost identical. This is going to be a very interesting meal.
All right, now it's time for the taste test. So right here is the Weber Summit Kamado, and this is the Weber Kettle Master Touch Premium. Cutting into them, I can't tell which one's better than the other. Tasting them, let's start off with some breast. Yeah, let's go with this one. Breast is amazing. It's really moist. Let's check out the skin. Oh man, that's good chicken. All right, let's check out the Master Touch Premium or the Kettle. Almost identical. Let's try the meat. there is a difference. So these are cooked exactly the same. The breast I got at 165, and then the legs I got at 180. The Kettle's breast is drier than the Summit Kamado. Let me try it again. Yeah. Kamado is juicier. Okay, let's try a leg. This is the Kettle, which is dripping. Really good. The skin is so crispy. That's really good. Now, the Summit Kamado. Also dripping. A huge burst of juiciness. And honestly, there is a difference. I can taste the difference. I do prefer the Summit Kamado. It's more consistent. It is juicier. The skin is crispy. I was actually surprised because I thought it wasn't going to crisp up in time. It did take a little bit slower to cook. It was about 15 minutes behind this one. But with that being said, the Kettle did a great job too, and this is a great chicken. So is there $1,000 difference between the two? No. Was it funner to cook on the Kamado and more consistent? Yes. Is the food more consistent? Yes. Do I taste $1,000 difference? No. Ultimately, if you have a Kettle and you're happy with it, great. If you're looking to upgrade and get a Kamado, great. But they're both going to make you really good food. Now, with that being said, something that I do want to do, that I do want to test, and I think this is going to be a next part, right? So this is kind of going to be like a multi-part video. I want to smoke with both of them, and I want to test out the diffuser plates. So the Master Touch Premium has a diffuser plate. Of course, the Kamado does too, and I'm thinking we just cook up some briskets and then do low and slow, put in some wood, smoke them, and see if there's a big difference in results there, because the Kamado does hold temperatures a lot better. Now, someone in the comments did make a suggestion or had a theory, which kind of makes sense. I think he said something along the lines like the Kamado is a little too efficient and it kind of hinders the combustion process, so you don't necessarily get that really smoky flavor because it's just way too efficient, way too consistent. And with something like Kettle that is not very efficient, not very consistent, it allows the combustion process to sort of happen organically, and you end up getting more smoke, or at least more smoke present in the food, and he preferred that. That's a very interesting theory, and it kind of does make sense. So I think the next video, we're going to test that out by smoking up some briskets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to see another comparisons or have suggestions for future videos involving the Kamado and the regular old Kettle grill, let me know below. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please consider subscribing and joining our channel memberships. I'll catch you on the next video.